Here at Hastings High School, a class of students have been hard at work on their science projects they hope will take home the top honors in the Intel Science Competition. The head of the Science Research Program is Melissa Shandroff, an inspirational science teacher who is here with us today. Thanks for speaking with us, Mrs. Shandroff.
You're welcome.
Tell us how the program started.
All right. I started the program a number of years ago because I had spent 2 summers in, it was actually a summer research program for science teachers. So I spent 2 summers at Columbia University doing genetics research, looking at how DNA repairs itself. And I just saw that we really didn't have much in terms of a class for authentic science to happen. And I knew that other schools in Westchester did have these programs. So I decided to start one here.
What exactly are students doing to prepare for the science fair and work on their projects?
Well, during the senior year, the students spend time writing actual science papers. So they write these papers in the format that you would submit to a peer-reviewed journal article, and then they create a large poster that they present at the Westchester Science and Engineering Fair. So right now the students our fair is next Saturday, March 15th at Sleepy Hollow High School, if you want to come. And the students are preparing their posters for that.
What are some of the program's great accomplishments?
One of my first years, I had a student, Nityan Nair, who ended up competing at the Siemens competition, which is a competition for United States students. And he ended up placing 3rd in the nation and winning a $40,000 scholarship to college. So that was a really exciting. And I really credit his project and his intensity with really making me want to get that level of achievement for my other students. And then the past 2 years, I've taken students to the International Intel Science and Engineering Fair, for which the WESF, the Westchester Science and Engineering Fair, students compete there, and then they take the top 10 projects, individuals, and top 3 projects to the international competition. That's really exciting to see them compete against students from all over the world. And then another thing that was really exciting was this fall, or just a few months ago, I found out that one of my students from a few years ago is having the research he did published in the Journal of Magnetic Resonance Imaging, which is just fantastic. Like, he was a high school student, he did this research, and now he's an author on a peer-reviewed paper. So that's really exciting. And then I had other students who were asked to take part in national conferences, so it's a really exciting time.
From experience, I know that students can come up with some pretty wacky ideas. What is a project that stood out to you as an out-of-the-box idea?
I guess one of the out-of-the-box ideas that wasn't a student who really wanted to work in a lab necessarily, but one of my students looked at tracking raccoon movements. So we put cameras up in Hillside Woods, a couple cameras, and we put a camera in his backyard, and we're looking at different water sources and how raccoons move. So he got a lot of pictures of animals, and he got to kind of go through those. It was interesting. It was different.
Good luck in the science fair, and thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks.
With me now is one of Mrs. Shandroff's outstanding students, Emma Dietz. We have the pleasure of learning about her experience with the program firsthand. Thanks for speaking with us today, Emma.
No problem. I'm really happy to be here.
Can you give us an overview of your project?
Absolutely. So my project is called Lumbriculus variegatus, a possible indicator of heavy metal contamination in sediment. This project is based on using the organism Lumbriculus variegatus, a small species of Californian blackworm, as an indicator of pollution. The way that this experiment worked was that we let 100 worms live in each test chamber for 13 days, and at the end we took them out and tested them for their expression of the metalloprotein metallothionein. So the more contaminant the organism has in its body, the greater the amount of metallothionein that's going to be needed to rid the body of that contaminant. We got some really interesting results in our lab. We actually isolated a unique compound of metallothionein. Normally, this protein weighs 6 kilodaltons, which is extremely light for a protein. Our bands, when we were getting them, were showing up at 30 kilodaltons.
Did you do an internship, or did you do all this work by yourself?
I actually had an internship. I worked at the Lisman Aquatic Toxicology Laboratory, which is down in the Bronx. It's through Riverdale Country Day School. I worked with my mentor, Dr. Rachel Cox, who was a huge help.
Wow, these projects seem like a lot of work. Has there ever been a time where you felt stuck or found yourself faced with a difficult problem during this process?
Yeah, I've been faced with a lot of problems, and I think that's one of the main things that young scientists like myself end up learning through internships like this one. Science is full of problems, it's full of challenges, and that's really why I like it. I like the challenge. I think the first challenge that I was faced with really was in starting this experiment. When I had originally designed it last year in the science research class, it was based on an organism called Cragon septum simosa, which is a species of sand shrimp. And originally I had planned to take the organism directly from its habitat and run tests on it there. So that ended up not being able to be a possibility. Another challenge that you have is justifying your research. So that's something else that a lot of people ask me, why did you choose to do this? Why didn't you just test the sediment itself? But the point is not if the sediment is polluted or not, really, just for this experiment. It's if the organism can uptake it, because that's when it becomes a potential threat to humans.
You've learned a lot through this process, and it seems like you're really interested in this field. Does your project have anything to do with your expected career path?
Yeah, absolutely. I chose this internship because I want to be a marine biologist, specifically coral reef ecology, but this internship also really appealed to me. I want to have the experience of working in a lab. I find it fascinating. I love being able to discover new things. I love kind of being at the forefront of the research. But I don't just want to be a researcher specifically. I'd like to be a professor in marine biology eventually. I have my whole life planned out.
I wish you luck in the science fair and the rest of your project, and thanks so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
The Science Research Program allows students to partner up. We are lucky to have Adam Scharf and Quinton Street, a standout partnership, here with us today. Thanks for speaking with us, Adam and Quinton.
Thanks for having us.
As well.
Can you give us an overview of your project?
Yeah, definitely. So basically what Quentin and I did was we looked at how multiple risk factors affect diabetes patients. So we looked at diabetes plus and uncontrolled diabetes. And so without going into too much detail, the main focus was how hypertension and hyperlipidemia affected mortality rates in diabetes patients. And we got interesting results that showed that the development of a second or third risk factor when you already have diabetes significantly increases patient mortality rates.
Did you have an internship?
Yeah, we had an internship at NYU Langone Medical Center, and that's affiliated with VA, Veterans Affairs Hospital of New York City. So we kind of worked at both hospitals and worked with a team of doctors from both hospitals. So we were working with many doctors. We had statistical analysis people working with us as well. So it was 5 mentors in total, I think. It was a really good opportunity.
Why did you two pick the project that you did?
How the science research class works is you choose a topic junior year, and you kind of research that topic, read a lot of science papers on that topic, and then try to find an internship in that area. So we followed Julia Logan, and they also were a partnership, and they did the same internship with the same mentors, and they did one on heart disease. So we decided to work with those mentors as well, and we thought we were going to do something with heart disease as well, but when we got there, they decided to do something with diabetes, so we kind of had to redo all our research and research diabetes, but that's kind of how we chose our topic.
I would imagine there's some advantages of working with a team.
Yeah, there are a bunch of advantages to working with in a team. One of them is that I get to work with this lovely face often. And Quentin's a really smart guy, and so we help each other out. I am artistically challenged, whereas he is really not. So it was especially helpful on the poster where we were both adding information, and then he was doing all the color schemes, and because he excels at that along with other things.
And then I guess another factor to working as a team is when the science competition rolls around at WSF. having a partner to help you present to the judges, because I know it's very rigorous and they ask you a lot of questions, is probably very helpful, because if you stumble and don't remember what to say, you have a partner that can help you out maybe. So that's another aspect.
But there's also disadvantages, I would assume, right?
Thankfully, they've been less than I would say some other partnerships would be, but there are times that we've gotten to little spats and stuff.
Definitely, I concur.
It was so great to learn about your project. Good luck in the science fair, and thanks for speaking with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
The Hastings High School Science Research Program has accomplished a lot throughout the years and has opened a new chapter in the science program here at Hastings. Many projects will be competing in WESF on March 15th. This has been Mel Logan reporting for The Current.